This is the first ever AI talk on Roadmaps conference in product. So I hope next year we see some AI products on the survey as well. Don't get too excited about it. But yeah, today we will hear and see, maybe, a talk bringing vibes into product management. Marija Milosevic, you probably heard, she was in a podcast recently and she talked about this. She's experienced product manager who worked across post-revenue startups, Fortune 500 companies, and everything in between. With a background as a mobile developer, she bridges the gap between engineering and business, and now she's bringing a future-facing perspective on AI, automation, and vibe coding. Kawasaki said Canva democratized design. Vibe coding is doing the same for software. Imagine turning ideas into working prototypes in hours without a single line of code. Marija will break down what vibe coding is, how it works, and why it's the fastest way to go from what if to let's test it. So let's give a big round of applause for Marija.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is our last talk for the day, so I will try to keep it fun. I can't promise for short. I want to thank Anna for inviting me to speak to you today about vibe coding and bringing vibes into product management. So, I guess you are already doing a bunch of things. You're doing user interviews, you're checking out product analytics, you're doing stakeholder alignment and market research, and you're probably wondering, do I need to learn another thing? Do I really need another tool in my toolbox? And I'm here to try to convince you that vibe coding just might be it, and that it could be something that could really impact the speed of development of software as we know it today. So, who is Marija? That's me. That's me on my career break. I have been a software developer for over 10 years. And I worked in startups, I worked in corporations, I worked in Fortune 500 companies. And a couple of years back, I called my manager and I told him, let's jump on a quick call. And I said, I can't write another line of code anymore. So I took a career break, and after that, I kind of stumbled into product management. And I didn't look back, but it was tricky, and I soon realized that product managers do more than just attend meetings and write Jira tickets. There was a bunch of things I needed to do. And one of my first projects was ITFM, and ITFM stands for Finance Management of IT Expenses in Corporations. Really exciting. And the best part was that I inherited a 45-page PRD. It was 100% text and 8 Excel sheets. And I had zero handover because the girl who was a product manager and who put together this PRD was on her maternity leave. So I was all alone, and I spent weeks with my team trying to decode the doc and to figure out what we need to build. And although I really had access to the founders and we were talking, we couldn't really figure out what we should build. But we had to get it off the ground, and we built a couple of screens in Figma together with a UX designer, and surprise, surprise, everything was completely wrong. And that's when I started thinking, you know, if we had the prototypes a little bit earlier along the way, probably we would get it wrong earlier and then get it right earlier as well. So docs, we had zero comments on the docs, but as soon as we had a prototype, everybody had an opinion. And it turns out if you have a picture, everybody becomes a UX expert, and everybody has a comment, including the development team, the QA team, the designers. Everybody has a comment, and that's why I think designers have it the worst, because they get all the feedback, because that's the point where we have something visual that we can comment on. But the good thing was that we realized when we have a prototype, we actually get feedback from everyone. Everybody gets involved. And we uncovered the issues early. You know, the development team says, hey, we need that kind of database, or this might not work, you know, the way we imagined it to. And the best part is that we actually understand, we all together as a team understand what we want to build, right? And we don't build prototypes very often. They are skipped, especially in outsourcing, or maybe even in startups when you're working in a fast-paced environment. You want to get to the product as soon as possible, and you might want to skip prototypes because they used to be very expensive. They would require resources, people, money, and then we might just want to jump straight into development. So we would build the thing kind of 3 times. Going once, it's the low fidelity wireframe, something you would draw in Miro or other tool. And then you would give that to your designer, and the designer would, you know, put together something really nice, beautiful, and a high fidelity design. But that would be kind of the second time of building the same thing over and over again. And the third time, we have the product who would never be the same as the design, and we would, you know, have a couple of more features that will, you know, be born along the way as we are building the product. So here comes vibe coding. And I think that now with vibe coding, we can actually do this thing. We can actually build prototypes really, really fast. And maybe this is a step that we don't want to skip, right? So a little show of hands, how many of you have tried vibe coding? Okay, cool. 50-50. I was thinking to skip this slide. I was expecting better show of hands, but yeah, I'm still gonna say what vibe coding is. So vibe coding is using your natural language, English, Serbian, Russian, whatever language you're speaking, and AI to create working prototypes and applications. You're going to use your language to write a prompt and explain what you want to build, and AI is going to be your software engineer, which will actually build the application for you. So instead of writing something with broken English that looks like public boolean submit form something something and 50 lines of code later with Java or Python or React or whatever the cool tech now is, you would be using something like Lovable or Make or V0 to create something very in a much easier fashion and in actual English. So you would say something like create a form that collects user feedback and validates it and maybe sends a thank you email after the user submits it. So do you need to be technical? I get that a lot. You're an ex-developer, you understand some basic concepts. Maybe for you it's a lot easier to vibe code. But the truth is that anybody can vibe code, and no, you do not need to be technical. So if you can type a prompt and copy paste an API key and use your common sense, you can probably vibe code. And the barrier to entry is literally gone. If you enter Lovable, it's like ChatGPT. If you open ChatGPT, you don't even need to register. Anybody can use it. You just type in whatever you want to ask, and that's it. And same goes for vibe coding. So if you open Lovable, you don't need to register. You can just start vibing immediately. So you do not need to be technical, but does it help if you're technical? Yes, it does. So if you already understand some basic development concepts, databases, APIs, how front-end and back-end communicate, probably you're in a better position to vibe code, and you can get from the idea to solution much faster because probably you're going to understand what can and what cannot be built, and also you will write better prompts. But if you are not technical, you will get a little bit more technical by vibe coding, because for sure you're going to have to think through the bugs that appear and think through how you want to build something, and you will learn something along the way. So you will probably have better conversation with your engineering team if you get into vibe coding, at least a little bit. So how technical do you need to be? I have an example I want to tell you. So it's Claude, make it pop. So zero technical. So there's this story that I want to tell you about before and after using vibe coding to make this model pop. So this is a feature for dynamic mockups that is basically a model to authorize their WooCommerce plugin. And the feature was nearly done, but this model was not obviously production ready. It was very poorly designed and just had one button and a line of text. And then the front-end engineer walked in and said, hey, we need to design this. We need something to put something together in Figma, and I can implement it so that we can actually release this integration. And instead of actually creating this screen in Figma, they just asked Claude Code to make it pop. And that was the actual prompt they put in. And this was the result. And this is now in production. So you really didn't need hours and hours of creating the visuals of this model in Figma. And you didn't need this, whole thing that you would take at least 3 people in traditional development and maybe use 1 or 2 days to actually go from this to this. Because, the product manager would maybe investigate how the other, forms look, and then figure out the copy, and then somebody would put something together in Figma, and then there would be a feedback loop, you know how it is. So it would take a few people, it would take definitely a few days, and with Claude Code, it was just one person, one Claude Code, and maybe about 5 minutes to say, Claude, make it pop, and for Claude to actually make it pop. But this, it's cool that we did it in no time, right? But the best part is that nobody likes to design or create this type of models. These are boring. And we can really hand off the boring work to AI. So the AI can definitely handle this for us. And then we really saved on the brain capacity of these people. And then we can, they can spend their time doing something better and more exciting and working on difficult problems instead of making a simple form over and over again. The question that comes in from engineers is, what about all that tech debt? So this is a love-hate relationship. It's complicated, how engineers look at vibe coding. And first of all, there is no depth if you're just creating prototypes. So if I'm creating a prototype, I'm experimenting, I'm showing it to someone, and then I'm giving it just as an idea, as I would give a PRD to my engineering team to actually build something. And if I'm actually using the code in production, then it's a different story. Then there is some kind of tech depth. But maybe this is the depth we want to take. Maybe we need to measure, the speed and the quality as we always do. And if we're looking to implement more things faster, obviously there's going to be tech debt. And I promise you, I made a lot of tech debt, as I was also an engineer for 10 years. I wrote a lot of shitty code to make things work really, really fast. So another example I want to tell you about is the shortcut to yes, Duolingo Chess. Everybody's heard of Duolingo. It's a language learning application, and they created a bunch of language courses. And during the 10 years of existence of Duolingo, they created 150 courses. But then in the last year, using AI, they created 100 more. And they ran out of languages to add to their application, so now they're starting to add non-language courses. So the first one was math, then music, and then Duolingo Chess, which is now live on iOS devices. And there is a story behind this, because vibe coding helped immensely to actually get this thing off the ground. And it started with just 2 people, 2 non-developers. One was a PM, the other one was a product designer, and they used Cursor AI to draft a prototype. And they had no dev team, they were not chess experts, they were just enthusiasts. And they wanted to show the prototype to their CEO. And this prototype got a yes very fast, and it became one of the fastest developed courses in Duolingo. So this one was done in around 8 months from idea to actually releasing on iOS. and the other ones took around a year or a year and a half to develop. And the best part was that CEO has stated that if he hadn't seen the prototype they created, he would never say yes to creating this type of course. So vibe coding a prototype, showing how something actually works might be your shortcut to yes. And maybe if they had a 45-page PRD, they would never get a yes, and maybe we would never play chess on Duolingo. And another example is something that's a little bit closer to me. So a friend called me a couple of months back, and she is in marketing and doing Google Ads for e-commerce websites. So she asked me to do a quick UX audit for an e-commerce store, which was, the conversion rate was horrible. So they were putting money into Google Ads, but they had very few sales. And the reason for that was very obvious. The site was outdated. It was horrible on mobile. It was really difficult to actually make a purchase. So people were coming in to buy something, then they would see the website and they would just quit. So she said, normally what we do, we have this process, we check out their the product page, we check out the categories page, the home page, and we give them like a document that explains what are the things you need to change. Move that button there, make this click here, I don't know, make better product pictures. And she said, when we present this to people, they get overwhelmed. They're like business owners for these e-commerce stores. And she was like, maybe, can you design something? Can you just build a page and we can show it to them, like how it can be better? And I was like, you know, I'm not a designer. You can tell by my presentation, I'm not a good designer, but maybe I can throw something into Lovable and I can vibe code a prototype, something, so that they have an idea how the new website might look like. So I did it. It was just a sketch. Actually, with vibe coding, you can even take a screenshot of the page, put it into Lovable, and it can give you a new website from just a screenshot. So I took a screenshot, I took my notes, I put it there, and they were excited. They were totally amazed. It was great. She received great feedback on the UX audit. And a couple of days later, she says, hey, check out their website. And I'm checking out their website, and I see this. My prototype was fully implemented in their website. It was just a prototype. It was so poorly designed. It was just boxes and just I was just trying to show how the elements should look like. And they were like, yeah, this is great. We want this. And they integrated it in a couple of days. And the good thing is that the conversion rate went up to 100%. So it was a good prototype. And they were like, yeah, thank you for that new website. And it looked like this. So, okay. And vibe coding is sometimes so fast that it can really feel like cheating, like ChatGPT used to feel in the days where we use it to send emails and then delete the M dash, the long dash. So if you want to do a little bit of cheating, I want to give you a couple of steps that you want to take. So first of all, take a couple of hours to actually try to solve a problem. Figure out what you want to do. Make something, you know, make an idea. Maybe it's a feature for your product. Maybe it's a little tool for your team, you know. Maybe it's some idea, a little MVP that you had on your mind, and figure out what that is. And talk to Claude or ChatGPT and figure out what are the features that you want to build. So when you have that set, maybe you want to check the dependencies. So do you need a database? And if you're using Lovable, probably it's going to be a Supabase. Do you need some external APIs? Like, do you need text-to-speech or some image editing, something like that? And when you're done with that, you can just write your first prompt and then iterate, and iterate. Do your first thing, and then you say, hey, remove this, put this there, add testimonials below, etc. And you can publish it, you can share it, you actually get an URL, you don't have to worry about having a domain, but I'm sure that everyone has some domain of a dream, of an idea they want to implement. But you can immediately publish it, share it, test it, and get feedback on it. Okay, so next up, what could possibly go wrong if we do a live demo right now? So probably I'm doing the worst thing ever, but guys, if you want to participate and I need your help to be my QAs, scan this code. There is, and you can visit this URL, roadmaps.lovable.app, and we're gonna try to build something together here in real time. Okay, I'm gonna keep the code a little more. I wanna scan it too. Okay. Does that work? Okay, cool. So now I have a ready prompt that I wanna put inside and run it. It's gonna take time. Lovable is not lightning bolt fast. Probably we're gonna need 2-3 minutes for this to execute. But in the meantime, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not sure what I'm gonna tell you, but we'll figure it out. So before I created this application, it's not a fully blank project. I did it so it's a little bit faster. Oh, whoa, is this already done? No, it's asking me to approve some changes in the database. So beforehand, I actually initialized the project. I just said, hey, create an empty project with this little girl meme. And I connected Supabase, the database for the project, and that's it. And it's all super simple. So just one prompt, and I clicked a button, and I said, next, 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 yes, like accepting terms of service. You don't read anything. While Lovable is doing its magic, I'm gonna try to show you a little bit around it. The product is really simple, so there's not much to show. There's the preview on the right-hand side, and on the left-hand side, there's like a chat GPT kind of chat, and it's actually a chat GPT wrapper. And Lovable actually uses, and of course I'm gonna get an error, so this is vibe coding, and I'm just gonna, it figures out that you get an error, and then it gives you options to fix it. So I'm just gonna click try to fix the error. So here you actually type prompts. On the right-hand side, you get a preview. You can connect it to Supabase, which is the database that Lovable uses. And you can actually connect it to GitHub and be a real developer and put your code on GitHub. And on the very top, there is the publish button. And publish actually makes it live, and you can share it with the world. OK. So let's see if this works now. It's still trying to edit. So here you can also see the reasoning that Lovable does, what it's trying to analyze, what it's trying to do, fixing things step by step, like a developer would do. And obviously the errors are the same things that you would run into if you were developing an application. This is how it feels. You do something, then something breaks, and you try to fix it, then you try again. So it's really feeling like working with an actual developer if you're working with Lovable. There's also a way to check out the code. So Lovable is not just something that will give you an application that you don't know what is behind it. There's actual code. You can check it out. You can even edit the code if you are knowledgeable enough. I'm not going to try to do that right now. But you can edit any of it, and you can export it, download it, and then you can actually pull it into your project and use it anywhere. So let's see if the error gets fixed. What I'm trying to build, I didn't say what I'm trying to build, but I'm trying to build an interactive application. So I'm trying to do this thing, add 2 buttons on the landing page and remove everything else. The buttons are audience joins here, and the second button is live preview. And the audience button, you know, when you click it, you're supposed to get a form where you can send something, and it's supposed to be shown here on the screen, if I'm lucky enough. And this thing works. I tried it like, I think 7 times, and then like 4.5 out of 7 it worked. So I'm really testing my luck. Okay. Maybe that would be better. This was kind of easier. Okay. I will try to give it a couple of more seconds. Hopefully something is visible. Okay. Here we go. This one, well, I don't know if it works. So now we need to figure out if it works. So I'm just going to click publish, because for this to be live on your phones, we need to publish it. So now it's updating. And audience joins here. Let's see what this does. Okay, cool. It has this thing that I imagined, just a little text box you can write to me. And the other thing is the live preview where, okay. Is this working? Can you send something? Okay, cool. Awesome. Now, how I imagine this to work is that you guys send me prompts and I copy paste them to Lovable. So let's make it together. What do you want to do with this? Like, I'm going to add the first one. Okay. Maybe you need to refresh. I'm going to do this. So make the whole screen shake for 2 seconds when somebody types boom. So it's doing something. I'm going to go back to live preview. Okay. I'm so happy this works. No, wait. It's still not implementing the boom thing. Okay. But write what you want me to write. Like, I don't know, change the background to be green. Drop table, okay. Make it pop. Okay, I'm gonna make it pop. Okay, boom. Boom is working. I'm gonna make it pop. And guys, I used to be a developer, so do you understand how much time and effort this took me a couple of years back to build? At least a week of debugging and yeah, display SpongeBob image after boom. Okay, I'll change the trigger from the word boom to popo. I mean, this is AI in action. Okay. Have Godzilla show up on the screen. Add confetti to every. I'm gonna. Okay. I'm gonna do this. How am I with time? I'm almost there. Okay, let's try one more. And while we are doing this, I want to tell you a few closing words. First of all, thank you for building with me and vibe coding with me today. I'm so happy this worked. I was really worried that it would completely blow up. And let me just go back to the presentation and close. So, nothing went wrong, we went okay. This was the backup. If you are familiar what happened with the glasses, it was horrible. This went better. The thing I want to leave you with is what vibe coding can really bring us. And a couple of final thoughts is that vibe coding really makes software creation accessible to everyone. And something that was really kind of abstract and we didn't know what it was and was hidden behind lines of code now can be as simple as having a conversation. And this conversation and ideas, they can really turn into working products, not only prototypes, but actual working products. And the second thing that I want to say is that vibe coding can actually maybe help us not build the same thing over and over again for 3 times in 3 different ways. But maybe this is an opportunity to break down the silos between roles, that we have our product designers included into coding, as well as our product managers, our QA team, that everybody can work together in the same sandbox, and that everyone has a seat at the table like you did today. And make this. Thank you. Do we have time for questions? 2 questions. Any questions? Okay. Okay. Honestly, I didn't test them all. It's so many things and everything is evolving so fast, but I really had a lot of fun with Lovable, and I actually, whatever I imagined to do, whatever prototype I wanted to do, whatever test or proof of concept, everything ended up working in Lovable. So I'm really happy with how Lovable is working. It has bugs. Sometimes, you know, you need to work through it, etc. But I'm happy with the results, and that's what I'm sticking with and what I'm most familiar with. Probably the other tools, I heard that Figma is also amazing. And I don't know, V0 I didn't test. Bolt also looks great, but for me, this is my favorite, honestly.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Perfect. Thank you, guys.